Hey, this is JD. And if you asked me today, out of all the cryptos out there, if there was only one that I had to pick to invest my money in and only one, what would it be? Okay. And my answer is what this video is all about. Okay. So most people think that crypto, or people that don't know a lot about it anyway, think crypto is about price charts, memes, hype, and overnight riches. But that's not where the real transformation is happening. The real shift is happening in the plumbing of the global financial system. How money actually moves, how it clears, how it settles, how risk gets managed between institutions and countries. And if you understand that layer, one crypto stands out far above the rest, and that's XRP. Not because it's exciting, not because influencers pump it, but because it was built to solve real institutional problems. And let me show you why. Global finance still runs on infrastructure designed decades ago. International payments can take days. Multiple correspondent banks touch each transaction. Capital gets trapped in pre-funded accounts all around the world. FX spreads bleed value consistently, and settlement risk stacks up quietly in the background. This system worked when the world moved slower. Today, trade moves at digital speed and money still moves like paperwork. That gap creates massive inefficiency and systematic risk. Now, institutions, they care about speed, finality, liquidity efficiency, counterparty risk, capital optimization, regulatory clarity, and interoperability. Okay, this is the real battlefield for crypto. Okay, now XRP was not designed to replace governments or overthrow banks. It was designed to move value between currencies instantly and efficiently. And these three core features matter. First, settlement speed and finality. Transactions settle in seconds with deterministic finality. No waiting for confirmations, no congestion games, and no probabilistic risk. Second, ultra low cost. Transaction fees are fractions of a cent. At institutional volume, that matters enormously. Third, liquidity bridge functionality. Instead of holding massive pools of idle capital all around the world in those nostro-vostro accounts, institutions can use XRP as a neutral bridge asset between currencies. Currency A converts to XRP. XRP moves instantly. XRP converts to currency B. Liquidity becomes on demand instead of trapped. That unlocks balance sheets. And if I'm not mistaken, on-demand liquidity is even a term that Ripple has copyrighted, I believe. On-demand liquidity. Okay. Now, why do institutions care about XRP? Okay, Ripple spent years building relationships with banks and regulators and payment networks. Okay, a lot of people think that XRP is Ripple's product, but it's not. Banking software is. And see, Ripple spent years building relationships with banks and getting them to use that software. Okay, and Ripple leaned into compliance instead of fighting against it. And that matters because institutions do not adopt rebellious technology. They adopt reliable infrastructure. XRP is energy efficient. It scales predictably. It integrates with existing financial messaging systems. It supports tokenized assets and CBDC interoperability. It upgrades the system instead of trying to burn it down. Now, crypto culture often dismisses XRP because it feels corporate. Ripple owns large token reserves, or have access to large token reserves, and it doesn't fit the ideological decentralization narrative. Okay? But institutions aren't driven by ideology. They're driven by efficiency, risk management, and compliance. And what looks boring to retail looks powerful to banks. Infrastructure is rarely sexy, but it moves the world. Now, no system is perfect. With XRP, liquidity depth still needs to scale globally. Competition exists from Stellar, from Ethereum tokenization, from private decentralized ledger technologies and bank consortium networks. But the future will likely use multiple rails. Now, XRP does not need to own the entire financial system to be massively relevant. It just needs to dominate one critical lane, cross-border liquidity and settlement. And I think they're positioned to do that. Now, we're moving towards most assets being tokenized in the future. Tokenized assets, digital settlement rails, basket-backed currencies, programmable money, instant global clearing. The old financial interface says the engine underneath gets replaced. XRP fits naturally into that transition, not as speculative rebellion, but as financial middleware for a modern system. Now, what does this mean? Most people chase price. Few people study infrastructure. But those who understand the plumbing tend to position early and patiently, because this is not about crypto hype cycles. This is about long-term systems evolution. Now, crypto isn't replacing money. Crypto is upgrading how money moves. And if you look honestly at the infrastructure layer, XRP stands in a uniquely strong position today. If this perspective helps you see the system more clearly, like and subscribe. And if you want to build clarity, discipline, and long-range thinking in a noisy world, check out Boom Dopamine Shift. And in the words of Sun Tzu, paraphrased just a little bit, be strong when you're weak, be brave when you're scared, be humble when you're victorious, and be badass every single day. This is JD. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.